Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 206 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Derrick as per usual. And the Vancouver Whitecaps are coming off a big playoff win over the weekend, a 3-0 win over FC Dallas at BC Place. Just dominance. Dominance is the best way to describe this game.
Yeah, I don't know how else you can describe it. The first half, you could see how compact FC Dallas was playing, trying to maintain that shape, but it was very, very far and few between they ever even got a chance to get out of their own half, let alone into their own attacking third. Yeah, I mean, and for all the chances that the Whitecaps were getting. Well, sorry, as I was saying, once Daniel Rios got going, it took a lot of time for that first goal to happen. There was definitely a lot of chances in that first half, especially coming up from the flanks. Emmanuel Sabi, Ali Ahmed. Ali Ahmed is who finally got the ball into Daniel Rios. And, we've been talking about a long time about how badly Daniel Rios needed that goal to kind of get things going again. And when you give a player like Ali Ahmed that much space and that much time on the ball, you know he's going to put it on a postage stamp wherever he wants it.
Yeah, it's good to see Daniel Rios get on the score sheet. Really good pass from Berhalter to find Ali Ahmed, and great cross by Ali Ahmed. Find Daniel Rios, his first goal since August 23rd with a great header. That's why they signed him on loan. He has scored in the MLS Cup playoffs before. He has the experience, and just a perfect setup for the goal there. And just total dominance. The Whitecaps were in control. Shots were 22-0 on target. Like, Dallas didn't even have one on target. Though they did have a few chances, but they were all offside, including that one where Takaoka just went way out of his goal, but it wouldn't have counted anyway because he was offside.
Yeah. I think one of the things that was really, really interesting throughout the entirety of this game is how ineffective Dallas was at marking Ali Ahmed. I mean, Ahmed did lose quite a number of duels, but he had the most dribbles in the game. Ramiro couldn't mark him at all. And they actually started to try different center back pairings out of that kind of back three that Dallas had against Ali Ahmed. They tried 3 different guys at that right center back position to try and mitigate Ahmed in some form, and nothing was working.
Yeah, and I think in the second half, Dallas kind of switched to a back
5.
like a back 4. Moore was just couldn't handle Ali Ahmed. Emmanuel Sabi was dangerous on the right side. Could have had a hat trick in the first half.
Yeah.
And he was the one who made that incredible run from that almost, I think, beyond the halfway line. Got past the defenders and won the penalty for Thomas Muller.
I mean, by the time he was brought down, he was surrounded by 4 different players and finally got bundled into the back of him, which is what caused him to go down. But you know what? This is another player that I don't think, or I think he's starting to get the credit he deserves. I don't think he did for a while, and because it took us a while to get to know him. He didn't start the season with the team because he was injured. Once he finally got in, I mean, we had to realize that he's kind of still going through his preseason and trying to get back up to match fitness and strength and everything. And then once he finally started rolling, I think it took all of us a little bit of time to realize he is doing something now.
Yeah, and
he had this whole recency bias of him just still trying to get up to strength.
Yeah, and I believe he has a high number of goal contributions. I think at least 7 in all competitions. So it's not like he's been ghosting or anything. He has been scoring for this club. And he didn't score in this game, but was deservedly man of the match. And of course, Thomas Muller converted the penalty, as he seems to always do, as he's 100% since he joined the Vancouver Whitecaps. And just, and then there's a third goal. Subs making an impact. Ryan Alumi, incredible effort to just keep the ball and keep it in play in the box. And then he finds Kenji Cabrera for the tap-in.
It would have been so easy for Alumi to go down. He was having his shirt pulled. He was basically being hugged by Abubakar. The strength to go against such a seasoned defender like that too, and to get that ball across. And then you saw that same desire from Cabrera as well to get in front of, I believe it was Shaq Moore, and tap in that ball, because from where he started behind him, it still took a lot of work for him to get in position to get anything off of that cross.
Yeah, and just really so much to like about this game. Even the referee Victor Rivas did make a few questionable calls in the first half, but other than that, nothing really to be complain about on decision.
I don't think. I mean, a lot of the questionable calls, because we were talking about it towards the end of the game, is that it was more non-calls, and it was more that it seemed like he was just letting the game go. I mean, for as physical as that game was, the first yellow card wasn't given out until, I don't know what, I think it was like the 70th minute or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even the Whitecaps, late they got a yellow card. Tate Johnson got one. There's a picture of Poupe. I don't know how he got his hands on it, giving the ref a yellow card. Trying to find it.
Yeah, it somehow dropped at some point. He was trying to give it back to him. That I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see Poupe finally, after a long time, make his debut for the Vancouver Whitecaps.
It's going to be very big, especially heading into the rest of not only this series, but hopefully what is a long playoff run. I mean, only having Halbuni basically the first out and out center back that's ready there. We know Laborda can slot in. Priso has done very, very well. Blackman is on his way back. I don't know how close he is, and even when he does get back, he is not going to be starting.
I don't think
fitness up as well.
I think we'll get an update later today.
In there, who can potentially take some of that balance, is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, and having Matias Laborda back too from his suspension. They did miss his aerial ability on the corners, in
very
game one.
So, yeah, I mean, the number of corner, it was 10-1, and Dallas didn't have their corner until
stoppage time.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do anything with theirs. And everybody really contributed in a way. Good to see Ryan Gauld off the bench. Thought he'd start, but I guess it was better that he came off the bench.
I think it's got to be coming soon. I just don't know when. I honestly thought he would have started this match as well too. I thought that's kind of what they were building up to in terms of getting him match fit with the matches that he had come on at the end of the regular season. But it's got to be very close.
Yeah, it's got to be. And also the atmosphere at BC Place on Sunday, incredible. Whoever came up with the idea for the flags, bravo to them, because it was just great to see as the players were walking out, and after every goal, the flags waving.
Record attendance as well for a Whitecaps playoff match in the MLS era. Just over 32,000 people with the Upper Bowl open.
Yeah, and hopefully if it all goes well, Whitecaps LAFC in the second round.
Yeah.
Hopefully that surpasses that.
Absolutely. Easily it would.
It should.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. LAFC will be playing their first match tonight.
Yeah. I don't know why the game ones are so spread out at MLS, but I guess scheduling conflicts and all that. But yeah, just really so much to love from this Whitecaps game. Dominant, everything you could have asked for, aside from being a super big blowout, happened. Because
I will say this though, don't expect this to happen.
No, because Dallas is going to be
very, very different match this weekend.
Yeah, Dallas is going to be very desperate to keep their season alive, and they're at home in their stadium in Frisco. So don't expect the Whitecaps to prevent Dallas from getting a shot on target again. I know Peter Musa definitely he'll be hungry to score. He didn't really do a whole lot.
He's not the quickest guy in the world. He's a very, very intelligent player. But you could see after about the fifth for 15, 20 minutes or so, he kept dropping further and further back just to try and affect the
I mean,
game.
that's how Dallas plays. They have him drop back and then they have him sprint for the transition.
But he's an out and out 9. He's a poacher 9, right? He shouldn't be dropping back.
Yeah, he's got the pace, to be a transitional guy, but Whitecaps did a good job of preventing Dallas from going on transitions. But every time they did, it came up to nothing or they were offside.
Yeah.
So much to love from that, and even Jesper Sorensen after the game said, "Yeah, this is something I'll cherish forever. It's a memory that he'll cherish forever." But job's not done. Game 2 on Saturday at in Dallas. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
and of course, don't take Dallas too lightly. That's what I think is my key takeaway. Keep doing what you're doing.
Pretty much.
So Tristan Blackman, we mentioned him is closer to return, but he is the MLS Defender of the Year. And a very well deserved win. This is the first Whitecaps MLS award winner since Pedro Morales won Newcomer of the Year in 2014.
Yeah. I think he is very deserving of it. I did wonder if the injury that he suffered late in the season might kind of derail his chances, but
turns out it didn't.
It didn't. Very, very happy. And I don't know if anyone else saw the video that the Whitecaps put on and how they actually presented it to him. I don't know if it was his wife or girlfriend.
I think his fiance, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I thought it was a nice little touch.
Yeah. A really nice touch, and so consistent all year. He could even score goals. So good with his feet. I believe he's one of the league leaders in clearances. Even
with so many defensive partners that he's never skipped a beat. What, 4 or 5 different defensive partners throughout the season?
Yeah, and it's a shame that he suffered the injury that he did, but it seems he's getting closer and closer to coming back into the lineup. And also some rumors here. The Whitecaps are interested in Rangers FC striker, it's Australian, Mohamed Toure, who played against Canada in their friendly a few weeks ago. LAFC, CF Montreal are also interested, and Chelsea are also interested because they are interested in every player under 25 under the sun.
Yeah, this is again. It would be one of those ones for the future. He's an up and coming player with Randers in the Danish Superliga. Obviously, playing in the Danish Superliga, this is a player that someone like Jesper Sorensen might have a bit of a beat on. Might have played against them at a time. The fact that he is getting interest from teams in MLS, you do wonder if they're looking at kind of that.
I would believe so because he's 21.
Yeah, kind of spot with Chelsea interested in him. Now, when we say Chelsea, we have to almost think of like Chelsea and the parent club because this also includes Strasbourg as well. Yeah. That's going to be the difficulty when it comes to MLS clubs. Obviously, Chelsea, you've got the global name recognition that comes with that. The fact that it's Premier League and, not MLS definitely plays a role in that as well. But this is one to watch.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't think we'll hear anything for a while. But, even if he doesn't sign, there's still Ryan Alumi and Nelson Pierre.
Yeah, and I've been very happy with those two, and I like the idea of having those two as homegrowns. We haven't seen a lot of Pierre. We know what he's capable of. Obviously, we've seen a lot more of Ryan Alumi and what his ability is, and I think he has the skill set and the drive to have a very good Whitecaps career.
Yeah, even beyond. Could even, be someone that moves to Europe in the future. I'd rather keep those two as, homegrowns behind Brian White. But we'll see what happens with Mohamed Toure, because it's more than likely now that Rios won't be signed since he is on loan.
Yeah, I think that is done. You have a good standby right away in Alumi. You have Pierre that can always come in and do a job as well. If you end up bringing in someone like a Toure, Rios unfortunately just doesn't have a place there.
Yeah, but it was good to see him score over
the
weekend, and we'll see if he, tries to continue that in game 2. I also want to share something that was updated here regarding the Whitecaps. Player salaries have been updated. Har posted this. So Thomas Muller, 1.54 million. That's what he's making, and as you can see, for those watching, here are the salaries for other new signings. Pierre making over 100K, Cabrera 390K, Ryan Alumi 96K. So
I'm trying to remember the entry salary is still just over 80K, right? You know what? Tay Johnson, where's Tay Johnson? Yeah, 80K just over. So that's the entry. So seeing Pierre and Alumi on that is interesting.
Yeah, someone like Badwall's making just 80K. Same with Mark O'Neill. Laporta 900,000. How Booney 165.
I'm not surprised about that, especially when you think of the contract that someone say like Ryan Raposo was on last year.
Yeah,
and with how integral Halbuni has become to this squad and how capable he is.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a steal.
Yeah, and then Eddie Ocampo, 375. I think that's pretty good, given how much he's grown.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Berhalter, good value here, 385K.
Oh my God. Can you imagine what it's going to cost to keep someone like Berhalter when his contract comes up?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're looking at like a TAM player minimum.
Yeah, minimum a TAM player here.
If you could get him on a contract, I would say that's similar to, what did you say Laporta's at? Laporta's at
900K, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of steals, Ali Ahmed's still only on 150K, but it's, likely won't be in Vancouver much longer.
Yeah, we'll have
given how good he's been doing, not just for the Caps, but for Canada as well.
One thing I should mention is in the roundtable discussion that we had with Axel last week, he said right now there's nothing going on with Ali. Obviously, there's conversations about players within. No one's looking out right now, and no player has asked to leave.
Yeah, but no surprise. Everyone's focused on the playoffs.
Yeah, and obviously when it came to what was going on, Axel actually had some interesting stories because they're still talking about whether or not they want to move the MLS schedule to match what most of the rest of the world is, and a lot of it has to do with transfer windows because Ali was never going to be moving to Germany when they did. The window was closing in like 2 days at that point. Axel let it go that the Whitecaps were still getting offers for players after the window had shut, and they were having to tell people, like, our window shut. We're done.
Yeah.
And other teams, and it's not that other teams weren't even aware of when the window in MLS shut. They just hadn't bothered to look. So that's still the view of MLS around, but it is also still that weird hindrance. It does seem like a switch to a different seasonal format is not that far off.
I wouldn't be surprised if it actually happens.
The big thing is talking with the individual markets to figure out how it works, because obviously,
because
places,
you're not
Eastern Canada, the northeastern seaboard of the States, it's going to be
Minnesota in the winter.
But they are talking with individual clubs to figure out how to make that work. And the thing is for other clubs, it would actually be a big benefit, like Texas, right? They don't have to play in the Texas heat of the summer, things like that. So it's give and take both ways.
Here, it wouldn't be much of a problem because BC Place has a roof. But it's still cold in there regardless.
Wear a jacket, yeah.
Yeah. So leg 2, Saturday, Whitecaps go down to Texas. I really want them to close it out in game 2 because it'll give them time to rest, give players that are injured more time to recover, and they don't have to worry about the short turnaround for a game 3.
I think it's possible. I think it's. I believe it'll happen. I feel reasonably optimistic that it can be taken care of in the second game.
I don't think it'll be
easy. It's not going to be easy.
I think it'll be much closer this time around. But I think scoring first is the key here to take the crowd out of it and have Dallas have their backs against the wall. So again, they got to keep doing what they're doing. But of course, Sorensen and his staff will have their little nitpicky things to improve on. Like again, try to minimize that transition. Try to do better in the box, especially when that low block is happening. And I just hope the Whitecaps, in any shape or form, even if it goes to penalties, just close it out in game 2.
Yeah. Not the only match that was happening in the first round. I mean, and we talked about it, the first round or the first games of the first round aren't even finished yet. We still have a few more to go with LAFC and Austin tonight. But everyone else has played, at least one.
Yeah, let's do a quick roundtable here, roundup, or if you want to call it. Miami took care of Nashville SC in their first game. Lionel Messi obviously being Lionel Messi, though Nashville did get one back, very late. This one was a kind of a thriller. Philadelphia Union beat Chicago in penalties, but Chicago came back from 2-0 down in the second half, and a Chicago player in stoppage time gets a red card for pushing Kai Wagner.
Yeah. Not only that, but both of Chicago's goals were in the 84th minute and then one in stoppage time. So they're right at the very end of the match. The red card came right after
right after the game was tied.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia prevailed on penalties. One of the players that missed for Chicago was Joel Waterman, who hit the crossbar, which was an interesting decision to put out there. But good on Chicago for fighting back. Like we said last week, this series could be closer, and we should count on Chicago.
This game happened at Subaru Park in Philadelphia. So now that they're heading back to Chicago, this series is going to 3. I
really do believe this series is going to go to 3.
Yeah. And you and I both talked about it. Do not count out Chicago. They're a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. Yes, they're facing the Supporters Shield winners of this season, but do not count out Chicago. And what I would have to give credit to Greg Berhalter for putting together the season. Yeah, because you got to remember that a year ago Chicago was in shambles.
Yeah, and it seems like things have looked up for the Chicago Fire, on and off the pitch.
They've started that growth, and they've done very well in a first year. But I think they also recognize that they still have a lot of work to do.
So out west, San Diego, they took care of the Portland Timbers.
Who won their play?
Valakari and Dreyer, first half goals, but Christopher Velde for Portland got one back. But San Diego managed to, control the game, keep Portland in check, and it helped for San Diego that Fleury got a red card in the second half for a really dumb tackle.
Yeah.
But
he's going to keep him out too.
Yeah, very efficient win by San Diego, and then they go to Providence Park to try to close out the series. And on decision day, they beat Portland 4-0 there.
Yeah. Hell is Real was a very close match. 1-0 for Cincinnati in that
Kevin Denke with the late goal.
Definitely a game where attacking-wise, Cincinnati seemed to have a little bit more goaling, but it was a very, very close, even.
It was very tight.
Close even match.
Yeah, two teams that are,
know each other very well.
That know each other well, that are, I guess, on paper evenly matched. It was kind of a chess match, but Kevin Denke's goal, his tap-in proved in to be the difference. I think this series is going 3 as they go back to Columbus.
I do too.
And Columbus is going to be rocking there.
The only thing I will say is that there is something that might upset the apple cart with Columbus, but we will get to that later on in the show.
Later on the show, and Minnesota beat Seattle on penalties. A 0-0 game, nothing really too exciting, but Minnesota prevailed.
I'm going to say it. Minnesota got lucky.
Yeah, because Seattle, I believe they hit 2 posts in the shootout.
Dominated. 65% possession, all the shots in the world, everything going their way. Minnesota didn't have a shot on target.
Yeah. Right? Dane St. Clair came up big.
Yeah. So, Minnesota, again, another one that could go to 3 because this now goes back to Seattle. And Seattle is not going to want to get punched in the face a second time.
Yeah, especially not at home, where they have one of the best home records in MLS.
And it's Seattle in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it's Seattle in the playoffs. It's a different beast.
Yeah, they are a different beast.
And then New York City FC last.
I didn't watch this game because I was out.
I didn't watch it either. I was. You were watching Canucks. I was watching Oilers.
I probably should have stayed home and watched this game. But
let's put it this way: you were disappointed last night. I was very entertained last night, but I still think we had more of an interesting show to watch than what happened in this game.
I don't know about that. The Canucks played painful, but
it was still, I think, probably more interesting than what this game was. This game was, I don't know. It didn't feel like a playoff game.
New York got the win on the road. That's big because up to this point, home teams have won. Alonso Martinez, their striker, 34th minute winner, pretty much was the only goal of the game. And New York can close it out at Yankee Stadium over the weekend.
Other interesting news when it comes to MLS. MLS has placed LAFC midfielder Ya Yoba and Columbus Crew midfielder Derek Jones on administrative leave pending a league review of potential violations of MLS league rules. Now, the speculation about this is that this is somehow tied into what was happening with the FBI raids in the National Basketball, the NBA, I should say.
Yeah, with the gambling stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Now, these two players did play together as recently as 2023, back on the same team, I believe, with Columbus.
Company team, yep.
So there is that. I guess.
But both teams haven't really said anything.
Both teams have said nothing. There hasn't even been a single post. The only thing that came out was what was
a very vague press release.
MLS Communications. However, there is a lot of stuff going on, especially when we talked to other people in other big sports throughout North America. It doesn't matter the sport, whether it's NBA, whether it's MLS, whether it's NHL, any big sport right now, people are scared because what happened in one league, the expectation is this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's going to happen in other leagues. So, yeah. I don't think we're done with this yet in the greater sporting landscape. If this is all that we see in MLS, I think that's actually pretty small. I don't expect this to be it.
Yeah, I do not expect this to be it. Not just in
not
MLS,
only that is we haven't seen any arrests yet in MLS as like we have seen in NBA. So
of course, yeah, you can queue up the conspiracy theories and all that and wonder which player in MLS is gambling. Of course, there's the conspiracy theories that Shohei Ohtani is a chronic gambler, that his interpreter took the fall and all that. I'm not going to get into it too much, but
I forgot about that, yeah.
We'll see
let's put it this way. Match fixing in soccer, I mean, those two things have never been together, right?
Yeah, it's not like in Ukraine a few years ago, 35 clubs were accused of match fixing, which is like a league and a half.
Yeah, or what was going on, Italy or Juventus back in the day, or, basically anything. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be done, especially when you see more and more and more betting companies being involved in sports, not only in just being sponsors, but in being owners.
Yeah, and partners too.
I mean, you have betting companies that are actual owners of clubs now. So, I mean, Stoke is a great example.
Yeah, shout out to Kian, the third sub, Stoke fan.
It's the tip of the iceberg, as we've already mentioned. So, yeah, keep following.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully no Whitecaps players involved with this. Well, the Whitecaps have a sponsorship with Play now, the local lottery betting company. So,
I mean, betting companies and cryptocurrencies, that's where your money is, right? It's like being in NASCAR and having an oil company on your car, right?
yeah, pretty much. At least the Whitecaps don't have a crypto company as their sleeve sponsor. Instead, it's a law firm.
Yeah, that is true.
Back to the actual on-pitch stuff in a way. So the dominoes for MLS head coaches has happened. New York Red Bulls, Colorado, Atlanta, and now Orlando
Right.
have head coaching vacancies. For Atlanta, it looks like Tata Martino is the front runner to return there.
He's also been mentioned with Colorado too, but I think the
I don't know about that.
of Atlanta makes more sense, especially given the fact of what he was able to do at Atlanta beforehand. He's got that history.
Yeah, Chris Armas has usually parted ways with the Colorado Rapids, and the New York Red Bulls had fired Sandro Schwartz a year after leading them to MLS Cup.
Yeah,
and Orlando too. I think just yesterday.
It's not the end of the fallout. There's definitely going to be more, and obviously this is the time of the season where we see that. I think that there could be other movements in different ways, but it's going to be interesting to see who hasn't been managing for a while and who might find their way back into management.
First name is Jim Curtin, who's been unemployed for about a year.
Was it Giovanni
Savarese, who's an analyst with Apple TV? He's been linked to the Atlanta job.
Yeah,
according to Tom Morgan, and of course Vanni Sartini.
Haven't heard his name pop up anywhere yet.
Not yet.
You would have to think it's at least being discussed.
Yeah. Of course, there are teams like a team like St. Louis who has an interim coach. They also need a permanent head coach as well. So keep an eye on them. Not like last year where it felt like half the league was firing coaches, but the coaching carousel has begun, and as teams continue to fall in the playoffs, we'll see who keeps their job and whatnot.
Yeah.
To the CPL, who had their playoffs too, but some news regarding the newest team, Super de Quebec. They're going to pull an Atletica Bilbao. They're doing a Bilbao challenge in real life. They plan to only use local players.
So when they say local players, they're basically looking at players that are either in Quebec or born in Quebec, not just the Montreal area. Obviously, you've got a big population that you can choose from. Quebec is about 8.5 million in terms of the
something like that. It's big
population that they have. But really, really interesting. And basically, this is something that comes right from the ownership that they've been, really, really, I don't want to say enamored, but really, really interested in the Bilbao model. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. I mean, obviously, we know of a number of players from Quebec that have done really, really well. Obviously, I'd say Ishmael Kone is probably the big name that pops up over the past little while. But it'll be interesting to see whether or not this is a viable thing. I think in the CPL and in Quebec, you absolutely could make it work. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see it in practice.
Yeah. Given that the CPL also, has harped on being a developmental league, and Quebec has a lot of soccer academies and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work.
Yeah, I think
especially that Montreal doesn't have a next pro team.
No, they don't. And that's, again, surprising as well. Not only that, but Montreal is such a wide area. Like, this team is going to be playing where the Roses play in Laval. Yeah. I mean, that's a big community just in itself as well. So it's
a huge sports community.
A lot to choose from.
Yeah. And then in the CPL itself, right now, Forge will not be in the CPL final for the first time.
Yeah.
Atletico Ottawa got the victory over them on the road. Well done, because Forge are a very good home team.
Yeah.
Well done to them. And then Cavalry's in the final for the second straight year after defeating York United at Spruce Meadows 4-1. So this year's CPL final over the weekend, Atletico Ottawa and Cavalry. I'm going to stick with my pick of Atletico Ottawa winning it all. I had that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think Atletico Ottawa has to be your pick, or it has to be the reasonable pick as well.
The favorites, yeah, but don't count out Cavalry. They had a slow-ish start to the season, but they slowly got better.
They're still good. I mean, they finished with a record that's almost identical to Forge. They're only 2 points behind Forge in the CPL standings. And still, same number of losses. Both those teams only lost twice in the regular season.
Yeah, and it's cool now that we got a final that does not involve Forge. No disrespect to them, but it's something new.
Yep. No, I agree.
Yep. A Canadian women's national team, not a good window at all, and do not be surprised if they fall out of the top 10 of the FIFA women's rankings. Lose 1-0 to Switzerland in Lucerne, give up a poor goal on the transition. The attack just could not do anything. They had chances, especially Sonis, who had 5 at least. But just no finish whatsoever. A lot of possession, but it was just very frustrating final third play.
They also suffered a couple of injuries in that first match as well. Yep. Winger Olivia Smith and Kaylee Hunter of AFC Toronto both had to leave camp with injuries. Hunter, obviously, that's going to be a big one in the NSL playoffs that are going to be coming up starting next week as they have their first match, I believe, against the Montreal Roses. But this is now 3 games in a row where Casey Stoney's team has lost and
not scored a goal.
Hasn't scored a goal.
The women's team has not lost 3 straight in 5 years, I think.
Yeah. Interesting quote from her in her post-match conference, talked about how sometimes we looked like little girls playing against women out there. After the first match, she also was talking about saying that where she's played against Canada as a player, she's now coached them. She's also coached against them. And everyone always talked about the physicality and athleticism of Canada. And she basically said she has yet to see it.
Yeah, so, I haven't seen it at all.
The one thing she has said, she did, or it was asked of Stoney on whether or not we're going to see some changes, not only in the lineup, but possibly in the coaching as well with the coaching team. She didn't rule it out. The one thing she did say is that it's difficult on the player side because the player pool is so small.
Especially with all the injuries.
Yeah. Now, again, the hope is that increases as years go by, especially now with the NSL and having Canadian players that actually have an opportunity. But right now, I agree with you. I don't know if Canada is going to be in the top 10 when the next FIFA rankings come out on the women's side.
Yeah, and that game against the Netherlands, just a poor start. It was all Netherlands.
There's not a lot going forward, and I mean,
yeah, and they did
not only that, but not only are chances not being taken, there's very chances are few and far.
Yeah, second half, sure they got going, but not a lot of chances to really write home about.
Yeah,
and then it doesn't get easier in the next window because they get 2 games against Japan.
Yeah.
So this women's team has a lot to learn, a lot to think about, especially in the attack. It just feels like, I don't really see an identity with this team over the last 2 or 3 games. Yeah, that physicality is lacking.
That's fair.
Like Switzerland, Netherlands, physical teams. Expect Japan to be too.
Japan's also a very good technical team.
Yeah.
I think they're 8th ranked right now.
Yeah. Somewhere there, but something's got to give. Something's got to change, here. Because I get, they're friendly, but still. Oh, yeah, Europe. So, mixed week for Chelsea. Last week, a 5-1 win over Ajax at home in the UCL, and this was the kids' show. Kids were all right. Dominance, especially after Kenneth Taylor got sent off for a dirty tackle on Esteval, and then Mark Guiu scores right after with an excellent delivery on the free kick. And then Esteval scores a penalty. Tyreek George scores a penalty. Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez score as well, just from outside the box. It was annoying to give up that one goal to Ajax, and it was Wout Weghorst of all people. And apparently that's where he ended up. A silly challenge and defensive play by Tosin, but he didn't score. But the man of the match was Jamie Gittins. That's the player that they signed all over the place, taking on defenders, running down the wing to get chances, creating chances. He did really well in that game, and I would have started him on the weekend against Sunderland. But yeah, the Chelsea youth took care of the Ajax team that also has a lot of good youth too, and it was just total dominance from them, and all the goals were in the first half, so they were efficient. And then over the weekend, not so great. 2-1 loss at home to Sunderland. Another bad loss at home. Garnacho scored early, which was nice. Great pass from Pedro Neto. 3 minutes in, and he avoids the 007. But then after that, the attack just died. Struggled to break down Sunderland's 5-4-1 formation. That low block was nasty. Again, teams in the Premier League that are lower mid-tier, they all play with a nasty low block. And then Neto and Garnacho poor on the wings. Neto, there's this one chance on the transition, the second half, where Neto passed it too quickly to Garnacho and it went nowhere. That was infuriating. Just the buildup was slow. Couldn't get past the Sunderland defenders. And then, in the first half, Sunderland ties it up. Poor defending, and Isidore scores just inside the box. Everyone just looked, sluggish. It looked slow. And sure, they were missing Delap and Cole Palmer. Enzo Fernandez looked okay, but couldn't find the handle on his shots. Had them saved. And they weren't hungry enough, because it felt like after that goal, they just lost their bite. And then the goal was so infuriating to give up in stoppage time. So Sunderland go down the wing, right? Brian Brobby's in the box. Tosin doesn't even try to make an attempt to tackle him. He just stands there around him. But what was even more infuriating was Trevor Chalobah was standing near him, watching Tosin take on Brobbery, unaware that Chismandi Talby and all the other Sunderland players were running down near him. And then he leaves Talby all alone, and then he beats Robert Sanchez. Yeah, these guys are leaders. They have experience, sure. But I never want to see those two play together again. It just doesn't work. And we know these two are better than this, but both have brain farts recently. It was questionable for Maresca to take off Josh Achiampong, but apparently he had a cramp. However, Wesley Fofana was on the bench. He would have been better at this situation instead of Tosin. And what's even more infuriating is that Chelsea could have been third if they had won this game. Because, Liverpool dropped points, Man City dropped points. This was a huge missed opportunity. The attack was so lifeless. Defending was woeful. One goal, and then everything just shuts down. And I guess Garnacho should stop doing that sitting on the bench situation, because every time he does it, the team loses. That's what happened at Man United, too. Really infuriating loss at home again, especially in the last minute. But today they got Wolves in the EFL Cup. Should win that one because Wolves are terrible. They still haven't won the Premier League. And what also helps is Liam Delap is back. And he will be in the squad. And they have missed his ability to break down low blocks. He would have been useful against Sunderland. And after that, it is Tottenham away, which should be a good one.
Yep.
For Tottenham, they beat Everton, and Everton's first loss in their new stadium.
Yeah, you know what? It was a pretty good match. A pretty just succinct match. Again, the one thing that's strange with Tottenham is they're not worried about the possession that they have on the ball. Obviously, they're still pretty close to that 50%, but they're being really, really clinical on those counterattacks or set pieces. And set pieces is kind of the name of the game this season when you look out pretty much anywhere. Two of the goals, the first two came off set pieces, Mickey Van de Ven. up there for both of them, put them up 2-0 in the first half. Papa Matesar came on in the second half, got the third goal. It never looked like Tottenham was not going to win this game. It was a very simple affair for them. Very, very good win. It's got them right now up in third, tied with Sunderland, but they're ahead on goal difference. 1 point behind Bournemouth, which after 9 games, Bournemouth in second. And we should say after 9 games, Sunderland tied for third, which is
crazy.
Something I thought any of us would say. The one thing that's interesting is we're starting to see Man United get up there. I think that's 3 games in a row they've won.
Yep, 2 more wins and that fan can cut his hair.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting stuff going on with Spurs, kind of in terms of players. Mickey Van de Ven, with how well he's been doing this season. He had no goals last year, which, center back. He's got 5 this year.
That's crazy.
3 in the Premier League, 2 in other competitions, doing really, really well. It's starting to bring interest from a few places. Liverpool, Real Madrid, kicking tires. Real Madrid, we know, was also interested. I think it was Atletico Madrid that was interested in Romero in the offseason. But Van de Ven is starting to get interest. So Spurs have slapped a 100 million euro price tag on him. Not because they want to sell him, but basically to just tell everyone else to go away. Which I get. I mean, Mickey Van de Ven has been phenomenal this year. He's done really, really well. Not only is he offensively contributing, but he's still one of the top 2 defenders on this team.
One of the best defenders in the league, actually.
Yeah. Interest in Samu
Meridian
Aquahoa is still growing. We talked about this last week. It's not going away. It's actually increasing, and it's increasing a lot more now that Paratici is back working with the club in that joint sporting director role. Because of this interest, we're also starting to see the possibility of both Richarlison and Solanke being up for sale. Solanke hasn't started a game at all this season, and he's good to go. The rumor is that Thomas Frank is just not impressed with him and is willing to just say, cut ties. Richarlison, I mean, these rumors have never really gone away. I think Richarlison has started very well this season. He's got more goals this season already than he had all of last year. He's done very well. He's been that choice at the top, not necessarily the choice that they want. They're still looking for someone to replace Harry Kane, which ironically in January might end up being Harry Kane.
Never know.
Yeah, but Everton has popped up as a possible landing spot for Richarlison. Obviously, he spent a number of years there, is still very, very well liked by the supporter loyal fan base in Everton.
Signing autographs for Spurs and Everton fans.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility. Again, Richarlison also wants to stay in the Premier League. I mean, we can remember a year ago how many offers there were for him to go to the Saudi Pro League for way more money, and he just didn't take the bite. So this is something that could happen, but it's going to require that they get an attacker in. And if it's not Samu, there's another name that's starting to pop up as well. And, if anyone follows sport, football in general, this name is going to be known, but not necessarily for the best of reasons. And that is Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
Currently of Marseille. Obviously, he's doing very, very well there, but we all know Mason Greenwood for the legal battle that he was facing for assault charges in England. Those may be done, but
scars never heal.
Exactly. That's probably a way to put it. Now, in the driver's seat for Greenwood is Barcelona. They're the one looking at the player, and it seems the most likely. But Spurs are in the conversation. West Ham is in the conversation.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder the fact that you've got 2 English clubs looking at this player.
True.
I don't know what to say. Anyway, that is Spurs, and go from there. They do play actually today, EFL Cup against Newcastle. That game will be coming up here, at least at our time of recording, in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and Chelsea Tottenham this weekend. One last thing for Chelsea. I guess that's what they get for not signing center backs in the summer window. Tolson and Chalaba are fine, but they are
Right.
depth players. They need a true leader at
That
the
was
back.
Tottenham's problem last season when they had both Van de Ven and Romero out, and they ended up having to just try and find any player they could.
Yeah. So, big news out of Scotland in Glasgow. Brendan Rodgers has resigned from the Celtic job. He's replaced by Martin O'Neill as the interim.
So this is weird for so many reasons. One, Martin O'Neill hasn't held a managerial job in 6 years.
Yeah.
He did used to be the Celtic manager 20 years ago.
Long time ago. A lifetime ago.
We also have the owner or one of the board of directors guy, Dermot Desmond, who's come out with a statement where he basically just eviscerated Brendan Rodgers, basically laying all the problems of the club at Rodgers' feet, saying that Rodgers had last say in all transfers. So anything Rodgers is saying about transfers is not true. Basically saying that all the problems in terms of, player relations with the coaching team, Rodgers problem. Go and read the statement. It's out there. It's a work of art. Yeah, it's the only way I can say it. Now, the interesting thing is who is going to take this job once the dust settles. Yes, Martin O'Neill is the interim, but they are looking actively for someone to take that job. And obviously, the number one name that has been popping up is Ange Postecoglou, who held this job not too long ago before Tottenham.
And did well there.
Won, I believe, 5 trophies with Celtic.
Yep.
Or Celtic. I always get the names backwards. The other name, and actually one of the favorites and considered a front runner, and we talked about this, we kind of previewed this.
Yep.
Wilfred Nancy.
Yep.
Of Columbus Crew. Now, this is not the first time Nancy has started to pop up in conversations in Europe, but mainly, usually it's been in France. Now, he's from Le Havre, where he was born, but apparently Nancy has already turned down the job with Saint-Etienne and is rumored to be in the running for a job with Stade Reims.
Yep.
This would be an interesting one as well.
This would be interesting, but it just comes out of nowhere, this rumor.
But it also makes sense. Like, this is an up-and-coming coach.
Yep.
He can work in Europe. I don't know.
And he's done well at Columbus.
But it would reunite him with Alistair Johnson.
Yeah, they were together in Montreal.
Yeah.
Alistair Johnson fortunately suffered another injury.
Yeah. They don't expect it to be as bad, only a couple of weeks. So that is something. I got to say, I think Postecoglou was probably the front runner just simply because he was there before and did well.
Yeah,
obviously,
I would say so.
Attack-only mentality would work. But
yeah, it has worked.
Yeah, it's going to, but because they've got the pieces there. The one thing I'm still going to say that Celtics missing is an out-and-out number 9.
Yep,
but
they do need that.
It wouldn't be surprising if they kind of go that route, especially since they're going that route, going to, guys that they know with someone like Martin O'Neill. And don't count out O'Neill as possibly getting the job himself either, right?
He's being considered as well, but Nancy would be interesting. Nancy is also under the radar of Stade Rennes.
Yep.
He's a guy that, deserves a move to Europe, but we'll see if this goes anywhere. And as he focuses
it's
on
also going to be interesting to see how fast does Celtic want to replace Rodgers, because you're not going to get Nancy leading a team in the MLS playoffs.
No.
Which, they have an interim. That might give him a little bit of leeway.
Yeah. Another big sacking from another big club. Juventus has sacked Igor Tudor after 7 months on the job because Juventus are not doing that well. They're underwhelming in Serie A. Struggling to score, though they're playing against Udinese right now under their interim, and they're up 1-0. And it looks like they are set to appoint familiar name, as the news says, Luciano Spalletti.
Really?
Most recently, the Italian national man.
You're attached to it. I did hear they really wanted to bring Zidane back, but Zidane's holding out for that France job.
Yeah, he really wants that France job, as Deschamps is leaving after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Juventus 3 straight losses under Tudor, and it just things haven't going pretty well. It was an 8-match winless run, too, and team is struggling to score goals. Just looks very lifeless, and yeah, it felt like Tudor's time was up.
Yeah.
And Juventus has really been under a managerial carousel recently.
Yeah.
Malta didn't stay there very long, either, just a few months. So, task at hand for the next manager, if that's Spalletti or not, is how's Jonathan David gonna, how's he gonna get going?
A new manager might change things. We'll have to wait and see.
Spalletti is a very attack-minded manager, so could be beneficial, to say the least. We'll see where that goes, because David been in and out of the Juventus starting 11, but I think he just has one goal in Serie A, one or two.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't really been working. Because it looked like it was a good fit under Tudor, given what he brought, but fortunately not. So we'll see where Juventus goes there. Back to England. So Sheffield Wednesday has entered administration. 12-point deduction. The club is now forced into a sale, and there are apparently 4 or 5 interested buyers.
Yeah, so this is going to be basically forced into sale because of administration. Again, not paying players, not paying staff. We talked about this, that it seemed like it could happen, especially with the pay deadline in England, when you have to have certain tax information in. And yeah, it happened. What everyone expected to happen did happen. The hope is this can now get this ship righted. This is a club with a 150 plus year history that is basically being held at gunpoint by an owner that's just checked out. The forced sale is good. It'll be interesting to see if any of these buyers actually come to fruition. No word yet on who these could be. And we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Wednesday's a historic club. I hate to see them, worst case scenario, fall into a team like Reading or Bury.
One thing is interesting is if none of these bids follow through, the fans have actually started to raise funds for possibly making it a fan-owned group. Yeah. So they do have to wait. So the club is up for sale. It's on market. According to what I've been able to see, is the fans have already raised over £500,000 towards a potential buy. Now, obviously, a club like Sheffield Wednesday is worth quite a bit. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they can find something that's more stable, more financial cash, or if it does have to go this fan route, at least for maybe a few years.
Yeah, we'll see where this goes. And in the Premier League, so with United and Liverpool, United actually doing, on a winning streak, Man City dropping points, Liverpool dropping points, and Chelsea being inconsistent. Could this actually really, really this time, be Arsenal's year?
They're only 4 points up of second and 5 points up of a bit of a field behind that.
It's 7-1-1 record. Doing pretty well.
But it is also Arsenal, and you know what? Even if they were 4 points ahead and it was after Christmas, I would still have hesitations.
I believe it when I'll see it, but I feel like they have a better chance this time around. They have an actual striker now. Sure, Gyökeres hasn't really been like the Sporting Gyökeres, but
he just scored 2 goals in the last game, didn't he?
I know, but he has the tools to get Arsenal to be, an actual title winner, but it just needs to get going. Eze looks like a very good signing.
Yeah.
He scored against his former team. Saka seems to be improving as well. They have some injuries with Odegaard, obviously. That's still a question mark. Piero Hincapié has stabilized like the back line. And Zubimendi and Rice still look good together. Raya looks good. They've got the tools, but can they actually do it?
Well,
I would also have to think it would have to come down to Gyökeres finally being a consistent goal scorer. Because if he does, I think Arsenal doesn't. Like, I do think he does struggle a bit against low blocks, and he isn't like super fast on transitions, but for a possession based side like Arteta has, I mean, he has the skill set.
Yeah.
So 4 points, it's tight. Things could change. City could go on a winning streak. Liverpool could finally find their form. God forbid Chelsea could figure things out if, with Liam Delap back, Cole Palmer coming back. So I don't think it's like, Arsenal's going to do it this year. It's still too early to tell.
It's still way too early. It's theirs to lose. That's as much as I can say right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's theirs to lose. And honestly, if Arsenal, even though they aren't like the most exciting, if they keep putting up wins, they're going to like make a stronger case. In the league, they have Burnley and then Sunderland and Tottenham. It's their next 3 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they should possibly win all those 3 games, given their form and given the talent they have. So, we'll see. Could this be Arsenal's year? Who knows?
They won a cup of some sort, right?
They want to. I mean, Arteta's been around for 5 years, and all he has is an FA Cup and a Community Shield.
The rumor is that this is one of those seasons where Arsenal either wins or Arteta loses his job.
I would, if I were Stan Kroenke.
There's no more excuse for second. It is harsh, but we have seen that before.
I mean, Carlo Ancelotti got sacked for being second at Chelsea. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. That'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00 podcast. Nathan is at Enduric podcast at Terminal City FC. Hello to everyone watching live on the Area 51 Twitter and the Terminal City FC YouTube channel, and to whoever's listening on your podcast. More writing, Rise playoffs, Whitecaps playoffs. We'll do that for Area 51 Sports Network. Check out all the Canucks, PWHL, Seahawks coverage as well, and WHL for the Area 51 Sports Network site. Follow the podcast on Instagram, YouTube as well, posting stuff there. Before we go, a little Whitecaps update. Jay Janowar of Global BC has tweeted, Blackman is fully participating in Whitecaps training, no Brian White. We'll have more on that later.
Kind of what we expected.
Yep. Game 2, Whitecaps this weekend. Hopefully they finish it off, and we'll have another relaxed show next week. So that'll conclude this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.